Hey guys, Desolator Magic here. Nice to meet you. Hey, do you play Magic? Just kidding. Did you guys know that there has been an ongoing conspiracy at all the local gaming stores around me? And from some comments that you guys have left and tweeted me and that kind of stuff, it does seem to indeed be a worldwide thing. The conspiracy or rumor, whatever, that's going around states that Mark Rosewater likes to dress up as a creepy clown on weekends and try to lure people into the woods to play Magic. Obviously. Just kidding, but seriously, watch out for them damn clowns, for real. Not even messing around right now. The real actual rumor is that fat packs, or as they're called now, bundles, which I'm not going to do, are suspected for the longest time to contain more good cards than booster boxes. Now, what people mean by good isn't 100% clear. I mean, it could either mean more mythics or more foils than the odds would, normally suggest, or it could just mean more valuable cards from a pricing standpoint. Well, or of course, both, obviously, since there's an awful lot of crossover there. Now, I was intending to test this theory with the ridiculously high number of fat packs that I ordered for Kaladesh compared to the number of booster boxes I ordered, and it would be very easy to just count what I opened and then get a final answer, at least at the volume that I ordered them at, but then they went and cut it by 75%, and that just wasn't enough. I was left with a very non-scientific sample size that really wouldn't have determined anything. Now, if you recall from the Fat Pack opening videos that I did actually upload, mine were pretty insane. I mean, they were like mythic heavy, foil heavy, and money heavy. Now, that still wasn't a large enough sample size to rule out just like a lucky fluke. I haven't paid very close attention to the results of my fat packs in the past, but I feel like I'd probably remember if they were really awful. So personally, I'm leaning towards, yes, there are better cards in fat packs, but that really brings up a whole bunch of questions. Now, first off, I had heard, but I was unable to actually confirm, that Wizard staff members have said in interviews and such that they're the same boosters as any other boosters. So there is allegedly no such thing as filtered or seeded boosters. Basically, all boosters are created equal. I haven't found an actual statement of them saying this, but other people have told me all the time that they've seen them in the past or they've heard an interview where they said that, so I guess I'll take all their words for it. So effectively, they're saying that fat packs aren't any luckier than normal or any different, really. Something that really isn't helping dispel the conspiracy theories, though, is the fact that I couldn't get enough fat packs, another LGS around me couldn't get anywhere near what they wanted, and yet another store around me said that they couldn't get what they wanted as far as the numbers they ordered. So don't even get me started on the BFZ fat packs and how many of those were not floating around. All it would take to clear up this rumor about fat packs being better is for one person to open a significant quantity of fat packs and then just see what they open. But it seems that nobody can get a large enough quantity to actually test it. And obviously, like I stated, it's not because of lack of them ordering it or lack of demand or whatever. If they could get more, they would, but they aren't. Now, my distributor's reasoning, because obviously I asked them, is that they're like a limited supply, single print run item, and demand is unpredictable, based on the set and how it's received, etc. But they're kind of an unpopular product in general that like pros don't buy, so they don't like getting stuck with them, and there's just limited numbers made because of that every time. So when people do want them, there's not enough to go around. Now, for various reasons, I don't agree with some parts of that statement, but it does overall make sense, I guess. I mean, is it all a conspiracy to suppress the truth? Maybe. I don't know. I do have to mention that this theory starts to fall apart when you consider that Wizards doesn't necessarily know what cards will cost what at release time. They probably have a pretty good idea, but it's not like they themselves set the prices. I mean, the big single sellers do that and the big vendors. If you look at the top 10 cards in the Fat Pack insert, they're commonly quite wrong about what cards will be, good in general, although who really knows what parameters and context they're using? Like, a card could be really good in limited, it could be a total limited bomb, and then be just awful in standard. So maybe they're taking a general approach and they really do know what singles will sell pretty well, but I don't know. I mean, what do they care, honestly? As far as putting more mythics than normal in the pack, though, that's pretty easy to do. So besides the dollar amount thing, just upping the number of mythics, like that's a lot more reasonable. There is one final thing standing in the way of this theory, though, from a logical standpoint. I haven't seen a recent set's whole sheet, like as it comes off the printer before it's cut, so I don't know for sure how they arrange them on the sheets these days, but I would think that the sheets themselves of cards are like a static size, they can't print different sizes, and they're simply printed by rarity, color, or the card's actual number in the set, whatever order they do it in. It could be a mix of them, I don't know, but regardless of which of those arrangements they currently use, with all of them, there would then be cards left over, from like cutting it and then only selecting certain cards off the sheet. So they would either seed the fat packs with, better cards or mythics or whatever, and then put like the remaining not so great cards in the booster boxes, or destroy them, after they're already printed. Both of which seem pretty unlikely because they're wasteful, expensive, and complicated to just do it that way. Now what they could do though is run off special like seeding sheets that just contain like all the mythics and the dual lands, for example, in Kaladesh, since those are practically guaranteed good cards because they're lands, come on. And then they could throw a couple extra sheets of them in the Fat Pack pool to up the numbers effectively. So running a second sheet for a second product run, before or after all the rest of the sheets that go into booster boxes, that's incredibly likely to result in color variations, like consistent color variations. And I haven't heard of or seen, any kind of pattern of cards being differently colored in just the Fat Packs. One more argument that people commonly bring up is that if Wizards said Fat Packs don't contain better cards, why would they then put better cards in them? What is the point of that? Wouldn't they want to tell people so that they go out and buy them? Like, hey, they contain 10 or 20% more mythics. Go buy them. Give us money. What's the point of doing it if nobody actually knows it? Well, if somebody pulls an expensive, rare, awesome card, they get excited, it's a memorable and thrilling, happy, positive experience, and that might make them want to open more products in the future. In that case, though, why just Fat Packs? Probably because they're targeted more towards new players than, booster packs and boxes are, which are bought by people who've been playing forever and people who don't get that thrilled over, pulling a mythic. It does make sense. In that case, they would actually be motivated to cover up the fact that they're a little bit better. Now, people do like to constantly report that Fat Packs are better than normal packs, and then they followed up by telling you of an awesome pack they just opened. That is classic confirmation bias plus like some other psychological thing I forgot the name of. If people want to believe that Fat Packs contain better cards, then they open a good one, they're more likely to remember it and say, see, I told you, I'm right, and then ignore the Fat Pack or 2 or 3 that are mediocre or downright bad because they want to be correct, so they kind of sweep it under the rug when they're not correct and get all excited when they are correct and then kind of weigh it incorrectly in their head. Now, the strange thing is that there's a tendency for people to remember and report bad events at a much higher rate than good or happy outcomes or events. That's why sites like, Newegg and Amazon.com and all that, they have skewed review results because, people are way more likely to leave a bad review if the item broke than if it worked perfectly because they feel stronger about it. If you bought an item and it works for a specific purpose and it works just fine, that's not even out of the ordinary. It's not noteworthy. You're not one day going to wake up and say, wow, that didn't break. That's awesome. I better write a review. That is noteworthy. But if it breaks, you're going to let the whole world know about it because you don't want anybody falling into the same problem that you did with an inferior product. So wouldn't people constantly say that Fat Packs are crappy instead of good? I think for opening cards, it's a little bit different. That's because opening an insanely good foil mythic or like 3 mythics from a single Fat Pack box or 2 planeswalkers, it's kind of like a bragging show-off type of thing, so maybe, that explains away the lack of a negativity bias or whatever they call it. You don't want to tell people that, I spent my money on this and it sucks, I got screwed, I'm unlucky, yay, go me. You certainly want to tell people, hey, I'm awesome, I just basically pulled a bunch of money out of this thing I bought and doubled up on the value. It's kind of like gambling losses. You don't go and tell people, man, I just lost a ton of money at the casino. Woohoo! Dude, if you do that, you are really weird. So overall, what's my verdict on this situation? Well, I think from a standpoint based just on like soft evidence and logic, I don't think Fat Packs are any better. Just from a practical standpoint, it's too hard to do and there's a lack of motivation to really do it. From my own personal experience in hard evidence of actually opening Fat Packs, I will say that they absolutely do contain better cards. Gentlemen, and 2.7% ladies that watch my channel, we have a paradox. Well, I guess I just have to lean slightly towards solid proof. I mean, it's not like I have a scientific size pool to get results from that like disregards luck, but that I've opened fat packs and they've been good. I mean, that's just what I have to base it on. You know, there's theory and then there's practice, and I've got to base it on practice, even though it's not like I opened 100 of them. Hopefully sometime in the future I can get a huge amount of fat packs and get the final verdict. I mean, I absolutely could do it. I mean, just order them, you know, from like a large vendor or whatever. Obviously not a distributor. I'd have to get them retail. But yeah, it would cost a ton of money. So maybe when I get more subscribers. So, of course, feel free to leave your incredibly biased, inaccurate, and comically small-pooled Fat Pack results stories in the comment section, followed by everybody contradicting you and turning it into a giant argument. And I'll see you guys next video. By the way, if you're wondering why this video is really smooth and to the point and doesn't suck, it's because I actually wrote a script. It's a masterpiece,